working again with e-health related applications.
Thank you. So I'm Margarita. I will present you our work, eliciting end-user requirements for the PrescIT platform and intelligent e-prescription and clinical decision support system. The clinical process is gaining support through systems that promote digital automation, for example, e-prescription system, computerized physician order entry systems, and clinical decision support system. In this context, the PrescIT project aims to develop a CDSS platform for more interoperable, efficient, safe, standardized, and affordable e-prescription. A few words for the consortium. It consists of various clinics, as well as a tech company and 2 research organizations. To develop a system that tends to the user's need, collection of healthcare professionals' views toward current system is necessary. There is currently limited research available regarding healthcare professional views on the Greek e-prescribing platform. This is the system by Ethnica, and the focus has been given mainly on auditing aspects, while the available studies include a small number of participants assessing system acceptability, and the groups participating concern doctors, pharmacists, nurses, sometimes administrative personnel, and in a few cases, patients. For example, a work from 2015 shows that there is room for improvement regarding the system, while a more current study from 2019 shows that user satisfaction received lower scores compared to other categories. For this, state-of-the-art questionnaires were extended to create questionnaires to elicit insight of existing e-prescription systems. The developed questionnaires were reviewed for their completeness and suitability. Namely, it was checked if the medical terminology is sufficient, if the wording is acceptable. This was done by our clinics. The distribution was carried out online through the consortium's mailing list to healthcare professionals, and the questionnaires were also available on the project's website. In total, 430 healthcare professionals responded to our survey, 293 doctors separated in primary care physicians and specialists, as well as 137 pharmacists. A brief overview of the questionnaire. It consists of closed and open-ended questions, a plethora of questions with a large number of sub-items. This leads to a quite extended time to complete it, about 15 to 18 minutes. A few words for the questions. They aim to gather information on participants' experience with e-prescribing. They also aim to assess the benefits of e-prescribing systems and overall ease of use, while they also try to identify desirable features, potential issues, as well as suggested improvements. Here we can see the demographic characteristics of our participants, of the people completed the survey, separated in the 3 groups: the primary care physician, the specialist, and the pharmacist, in terms of their gender and their age range distribution. It was also asked and examined the number of prescriptions they write per day, they complete in the system per day, and it is noted that pharmacists almost unanimously noted that they process more than 75% of the prescriptions through their prescribing system. In the graph on the right, we can see the experience with e-prescribing systems. You can see that the participants are highly experienced, leading to representative and valuable results. We started trying to collect the reviews on e-prescribing in general. You can see the line charts are to depict and to show that the 3 groups have a similar pattern of the answers. So you can see that there is a similar trend. Participants acknowledged that e-prescribing reduces the risk of errors and misinterpretations. They commented on improvements on various phases during the prescribing process. They also noted that it promotes better management of the patient's overall medication when administering a drug. While here we can see the first gaps identified, as participants believe that the system does not promote the monitoring of side effects or of drug-to-drug interactions or of adverse drug reactions. We try to collect specifically feedback for the IDICA system, which is the most widespread, the national prescribing system. So it was perceived as easy to learn and use. The interaction of the system with the patient's electronic health record, and medical history is a desired feature noted by the participants, while the benefits of integrating therapeutic protocols in the system are debatable between the participants. We could see that while it was perceived as easy to learn by approximately 40% of the participants, at the same time, it was perceived as not easy to use by more than half of the participants. Furthermore, we provided a list with some potential gaps. Here it is interesting to note that pharmacists, a majority of pharmacists, note that there are many times unclear or incorrect dosage instructions. For doctors, no information on patients' allergies seems to be the more prominent gap identified, as well as no information on adverse drug reactions. Moving on to potential improvements, participants were given a list of 20 potential improvements to choose from. In the table, you can see the four improvements that collected the highest percentages. It is interesting to note that primary care physicians and specialists rate highly the simple drug selection, the link to patients' electronic health records and medical history, as well as diagnosis, comorbidities, and potential allergies, as well as integration of therapeutic protocols allowing flexible interaction. While in the case of primary care physicians, we also have a reduced number of actions. For example, this could be in the form of reduced mouse clicks needed. While for specialists, it was important to include information on drug interactions. Pharmacists also note the link to patients' electronic health record as very important, but they also included the communication between the prescribing clinician and the pharmacy for the availability for a specific drug. We can see that the differences between the doctors and the pharmacists also have this administrative aspect of communication of correct medication distribution. Our open-ended questions, the answers given to them, highlight and confirm the findings of the quantitative analysis carried out and presented to you before. So the benefits listed include error prevention, gained control and transparency of the prescribing process, monitoring the overall treatment of the patient, ease and speed of the prescribing process when using an e-prescription system, while pharmacists additionally mentioned the convenience e-prescription offers in terms of administrative matters, like checking patients' participation rate and medication prices. For the identified drawbacks, we have technical problems such as delays, frequent connection interruptions, and slow response speed. This is mainly due to the network, so this has to be tackled otherwise, while limited flexibility to interact with integrated therapeutic protocols is also mentioned in the answers of the open-ended questions. Pharmacists pointed out problems related to medication dosing. All this information was summarized into user requirements. It was mainly translated and transcribed to technical requirements that could be integrated as features in the new PrescIT platform. So mainly we have the link to patients' electronic health record, the information on drug side effects, drug-drug interactions, the integration and shaping of therapeutic protocols in a way that allows flexible interaction, more simplified drug selection, and pointed out by the pharmacist, the medication dosing control. Furthermore, some alert creation and available actions related to coping, repeating, and canceling a prescription are also taken into account. To conclude, e-prescribing systems have a positive impact on the overall prescribing process as healthcare professionals note minimization of errors and simplified procedures. The e-prescribing procedure could benefit from improvements and further aid healthcare professionals in decision-making. To the best of our knowledge, to date in Greece, no other study has been conducted examining benefits and gaps with this sample size, while participants' views were transcribed into end-user requirements, which are currently being integrated in the PrescIT platform. At this point, we should note some limitations of the survey. We developed and distributed a questionnaire also appropriate for hospital and clinic managers, aiming to assess the administrative aspect of the whole procedure. But due to the very sample size, extensive conclusions cannot be drawn. We only received 9 responses. The questionnaire consists mainly of Likert scale items, so it should be taken into account that there is a Likert scale bias and a self-reported bias. Also, people participating in online studies might be overall more receptive to technology and familiar with interacting with systems such as an e-prescribing platform, so this also should be taken into account. And our next steps include that the PrescIT platform will be integrated and tested in clinics in real-world conditions, and a survey assessing user satisfaction regarding the PrescIT platform will also be conducted. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Margarita, very much. I think it is very important to have detailed user studies and user requirements in order to have the appropriate design and then development of tools and also evaluation of state-of-the-art systems and approaches. Can you please go back to the slide 2 or 3 before the end, where the main here, not the next one, the next one. Okay, this because I think these summarized user requirements are also the main objectives of the PrescIT project, which I think currently are being implemented, most of them. And as you mentioned, the system is ready to be applied and evaluated. Are there any questions from the audience or from the online participants? Okay, so Margarita, I would like to ask, it seems that the number of people, of participants who responded to the questionnaire, more than 400, at least to me, it seems quite a good big number. Can you tell us how this was achieved, to which audience the questionnaire was distributed?
Yes, thank you. So it was important to collect a large number of answers, the feedback of these end users, because they are the end users. They are the people that will use the platform and incorporate it in their everyday life and their work pipeline. So it was important to reach out to them. This was done through a mailing list, extensive mailing list for healthcare organizations and hospitals. This was done through our research institute. So a mail was sent out, reaching out to, I think, more than 1,000 people. So from the list, this was the number, and we had a good answering rate. And I would like to point out that the answers were all to be used, so we had no weird completion or half completion of the questionnaire. So these were all valid answers, for 130 valid answers. The collection period was over 2.5–3 months. So we tried to give people time to complete it, to reach out again and remind them. So this was an important task during the collection.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I think it is important. And sorry if I missed it, but I think the categories were doctors, pharmacists, and then specialists.
Yes, to clarify that, under doctors, we have 2 groups. We have the primary care physicians and the specialists, so more general practitioners and specialists. In 1 or 2 presented questions, because the results were very similar, I put them together. Maybe that created the confusion. Yes, so we had the pharmacists and two groups of doctors.